Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology. This is the weekly forecast, part 2, for the week of July 27th through August 2nd. There are a lot of long transits from last week, plus additional transits that were ending, and I felt that trying to cram them all into one reading would have been way too long. So I've broken them up into the basically the old and the new. So this recording will cover the week as listed, and this will be only the new transits and what the moon is doing. So the lunar changes and the full moon. Sorry. And this is Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. It's freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm your astrologer. My name is Donald Patak. There is my contact information, standard YouTube copyright, and no, my content may not be used to train AI LLMs unless I'm appropriately compensated first. Okay. Keys to the reading, part 1, because I do read astrology differently. I practice what is called constellation-based astrology, also known as true sidereal astrology. It's astrology by the visible sky. In ancient times, astrologers were astronomers, so I am practicing more in line what I believe the ancient astrologers did. They viewed the visible sky, where's the planet, what signs it in, and that's where it's interpreted. Tropical astrology fixed the signs to seasons at around 200 AD. So that's why there's that difference. I'm reading the actual sky and they're living in ancient Rome. Pardon the snark. And in reading the visible sky, there are 13 signs. Between Scorpio and Sagittarius, there is another sign. It's called the Fucus. The symbol is of a man holding a snake by the head and the tail. In ancient times, the snake symbolized knowledge. The various mythos have that individual was wounded and that the gods taught him how to heal a snake knowledge. So he gained that knowledge and he was using that knowledge to heal himself and then others with similar wounds. So therefore we have the wounded healer. In using the visible sky, I'm also using the natural size of the signs. Virgo is huge at just under 50 degrees. Aries barely hits 25. All the constellations have different sizes. There are astrologers who try to make each one the same size. They're not. Go out and appreciate Mother Nature. You'll see they're all different sizes. And finally, I use astrological midpoints as opposed to the IAU boundaries. The IAU boundaries are artificial constructs, and they can take stars from one constellation and shove them into another. Athens Chimenti noted that, and he created the midpoint system. I follow it. I think it's more accurate. Keys to the reading, part 2. I interpret using what's called evolutionary astrology, which says these transits are lessons to learn and that you, as a human being, have freedom of choice. Yes, you are fated to see these and have to work with these transits. You get to decide how you're going to work with them. So if you don't like the way things are working out, you can change. This is the weekly lesson. So these are universal weekly editions. So these are universal lessons that everyone is facing. So do have some compassion on your fellow Earth travelers. Dates and times are based on the Eastern U.S. time zone, as I do live outside of Buffalo, New York. I am operating within 1 degree of exact. That makes it manageable for me. If I'm overwhelmed, you're lost. There are weeks, especially like last week was horrific. We're trying to do, if I had that using a wider orb, it would have been a bigger mess. The software I'm using is Capricorn by Prometheus, and all interpretations are my own. No AI used at all. There are astrologers who are turning their interpretations over to AI. I refuse to. I like having a conversation with a chart, is what I call it. I write things out by hand, type them up. There we go. So this is the week of July 27th through August 2nd, 2026. The sun is currently in Cancer. The moon starts the week in Sagittarius and will end the week in Pisces. And we will have the full moon in Capricorn on July 29th at 11:27 in the morning. Our active planets, we do have the sun, Uranus, and the asteroid Chiron. We do have a sign change. Venus is entering Virgo this week, and she'll be there for a long time. We do have several long transits with Neptune and Pluto, Uranus and Neptune, Uranus and Pluto, and Chiron working with the North and the South nodes. All of these here I covered in the first video, so as not to overwhelm you. And the transits, a lot of the transits from the sun are in the video, the first video, because they started the week, they started on July 27th and they will be ending. So I did not include them in this video. They're included in the other video. Our retrograde parade is getting a little longer. We do have Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, and we're adding Chiron this week. So, as you can see, this dotted line here, everything above this line is either a long, very long transit or ending from last week. And as you can see, we do have a large number of long transits. And then we do have the transits that are ending this week. That was all covered in the first video because trying to cram all that into one video would have been very long, and you're here because you want to see the new stuff. And what is new? We're going to start with the moon. The moon does start the week in Sagittarius. Very late Tuesday evening, it enters Capricorn. Very early Friday morning, it enters Aquarius. Saturday p.m., it enters Pisces, again, late in the evening. And there we go. So the moon is actually very steady this week. We do have the full moon in Capricorn on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we do have Venus entering Virgo. So an opportunity for you to improve your skills in relationships and your creativity. So let us... And then what do we have? Oh, let's do this. We do have just 2 transits this week, honestly. The sun will be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer, and that'll be Monday, Tuesday into Thursday. And then on Sunday, we have Chiron moving station retrograde. So that's it. I didn't want to try, like I said, I didn't want to try to cram that all into one video. I didn't feel that that was right. And in my rehearsals, I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So let's go here, here, and voila. So I am going to begin with, whoops, close that out. I'm going to move this over. There. I am going to begin with our lunar transit because we do have the moon entering Sagittarius. So again, this is emotionally, you're ready for something new, interesting, exciting. You want something fresh and something that creates a new interest or experience or excites you. So emotionally, Monday, start the week off with something new and exciting. Drive a different way to work, who knows? But emotionally, that's what you're up for. New, interesting, exciting, something fresh that interests you. The shadow is getting stuck in and defending the status quo, which can leave you feeling bored and stuck in a rut. And let's clear that out. Again, I tried to do all this, the new transits, and work everything out, but that's as far as I'm bending my index finger. And if I use it too much, it does go numb. There we go. So very late on Monday night here in the East Coast, we do have the sun conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. The sun is your core identity, who you are at heart. It's you learning to have a healthy ego. And conjunct Jupiter It's learning to build self-confidence. But in Cancer, it's learning nurturing and self-care. So the ego is taking the opportunity to learn how to take care of itself here, quite literally. Focusing on opportunities for rest, rejuvenation, and how taking a break can help you realize who you are and recognize your health, your highest potentials, and be able to achieve them. You know, there's a time to work and a time to rest, following that great song, Turn, 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 based on Ecclesiastes 3. This is the opportunity for you to learn self-care and to embrace the new things that come along, and you might find new and better ways of helping yourself to take care of yourself. The shadow is you getting caught up in your false ego, which fuels a crisis of confidence. And this can be overconfidence or underconfidence. I have a cat right in front of me. I'm sorry. And in Cancer, it's becoming defensive. Now, the defensive can be that claw with its crabs taking swipe at people, or it can be trying to hide away and be invisible. I dare say overconfident could be taking the swipes at people. However, underconfident people can be just as vicious and trying to hide away. Overconfident people tend not to want to hide away. They're okay with being seen. So blinding yourself to who you really are can have you collapse into the false ego, resulting in a crisis of confidence and fueling this defensiveness or a defensive nature. Close. Tuesday, and I think I have to go way late in the day. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, we're like almost midnight. So this is late Tuesday. When I did this, when I was planning out doing it by the week, it was very, very late Tuesday night that the moon entered Capricorn. And emotionally, you're here, you're ready for a challenge, you're ready to roll up your sleeves and do the hard work, face difficult challenges, knowing that with self-discipline and determination, you can achieve success. So emotionally, you're ready to do something. The shadow here is becoming that control freak and controlling others and trying to control situations that you can't. And you can come across as being uptight, and this can leave you left in loneliness. And that's going to run over Pluto too. So if in the shadow, this can really have you falling into a dark and foul mood. Now, on Wednesday, let's see if I can hit this around right. Oh, close enough for government work. We have the sun opposite the moon. This is the full moon. The sun opposite the moon in Capricorn. Now, an opposition is a time of balance. So the sun in Leo is learning self-nurturing and self-care, but the moon wants to get up and do something. So the key here is balancing. Again, and I'm going to refer to Ecclesiastes 3 because I think it's, the song Turn, Turn, Turn if you don't like religious works. There's a time for work and a time for play, but in this case, it's a time for rest. So it's emotionally knowing when to do the work and when to take a break. That's how I am reading that. And yeah, you're still having that conjunction to Jupiter. So this is real, and plus the moon being conjunct Pluto. Yeah, that's really fueling that because the moon wants to take on that challenge of inner work and transformation, but the sun conjunct Jupiter wants to take that break, take that rest and calm down. So it's having that sense of knowing when to do the work, when to take a break, when to do the work, when to take the break. The shadow gets pulled out of balance and pursuing one at the cost of the other. So you're taking care of yourself and ignoring that desire to do something or to have a sense of achievement. can leave you feeling exhausted and resentful. Exhausted, I would say exhausted and resentful. Now, I'm going to throw in that conjunction to Jupiter. That can fuel that crisis of confidence. You're like, I really need to take this break and I take this calm time, but that can fuel a deeper wounding of the soul. And let's clear that all out. I'm going to go to the end of the day, Thursday here. Here we go. Because that gives me a nice showing. Oh, come on. Oops. I got way too much stuff open here, but I know why I'm doing it. We have Venus entering Virgo. Venus, relationships, your ability to connect with other people, practice empathy, make connections, or your artistic ability. And as I always talk about Venus, Venus does govern the arts, and it's not in the transit literature. It focuses on other things, but for me, I think artistic development is that important. If you were actually to take the arts out of the economy would literally collapse. It's your artistic ability, and whether that's the physical arts of drawing, painting, sculpture, whatever, or your musical abilities, or any type of arts. And when you want to know what I think the arts are, go to the 700 part. Go to your public library, look in the 700s. Aside from the sports, look at the artistic stuff. If it's in there, it's an art. It's you learning how to connect with people, you doing the work and recognizing these are skills that can be developed. So you learning relationship skills, learning how to connect with people, practice empathy, or developing your artistic ability. That's this time. And like I said in my introduction, Virgo goes on for just under 50 degrees. It takes a long time to develop these skills. So do be prepared for the long haul. Now, the shadow, Virgo can, and the ideal recognizes where you need to improve. In the shadow, Virgo falls into perfectionism. And Venus slips into being slick and manipulative or lazy. Or with the art, it's not developing, it's being that copycat. I use the example of paint by numbers and always doing that paint by numbers stuff and pretending it's art. I dare say, this is going to offend some people, but I'm perfectly comfortable saying it. Plugging a prompt into AI is not art. Never has been, never will be. So it's taking the lazy way out on developing your creative abilities. Again, learning AI prompts to develop art or to write music. It's not. It's insulting. And what can fuel that is Virgo's perfectionism, that feeling that you're never going to be good enough. So the easy way out is trying to control people or look for the lazy way of doing art, or not even developing your artistic ability at all. You've always wanted to learn how to draw or paint or play an instrument. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it because it's just too hard. So it's holding yourself up to those unrealistic expectations, and what type of bad decisions can be made in that. Clear these drawings. Oops, close this out. I'm going to shoot. Oh, I just want to see something. Oh, yeah. There we go. You can see very early in the morning on Friday. Pull this back up. Come on, you can do it. Thank you. Very early in the morning on Friday, we have the moon in Aquarius. Perfect for Friday. You're feeling free. It's the end of the week. You want to feel free yourself from the approval or expectations of others. Dress down Friday. Skip the tie. Wear jeans and a nice shirt. Open-toed sandals. Be willing to set yourself free from the approval of expectations of others. Look for new paths and opportunities to explore. I dare say Aquarius likes to have fun. It's one of the other fun signs for me. Certainly Sagittarius is fun, but also Aquarius. Get up, go out, do something interesting and unexpected. I sometimes wonder if if Aquarius isn't the sign of the practical joker. The shadow here, the moon gets moody, and in Aquarius, it's acting out, being irrational, or it's selling out, trying to fit into the expectations of others. And that leaves you feeling, both come across as fake and annoying. Clear, close. And this next one is Saturday, very late Saturday evening. The moon enters Pisces, almost in time for Sunday and spiritual services for people who do that. But emotionally, you're up for some inspiration, some fresh ideas, some fresh inspiration for your life. Take quiet time and embrace opportunities for spiritual growth. And you're going to be going over Neptune and Saturn and Pisces. So not Pisces, but Chiron. So really the opportunity here to get some inspiration and some ideas and open up to that higher self. The shadow is withdrawing from life, trying to escape it in any way, or trying to numb yourself, which leaves you feeling empty and living in a void. And let's clear that out, and we'll, go to the end of the day, and our other new transit, poor Chiron doesn't even get out of Pisces. Chiron moves station retrograde in Pisces. Chiron is the asteroid of healing. And in Pisces, for me, this is spiritual healing. So reflect on your journey of spiritual healing and your ability to release those wounds. What are you learning from the wounds, and how are you able to see them? Are you able to see them from a higher perspective and understand them in a different way? And in what ways is your healing journey an inspiration for yourself and to other people? And this starts on Sunday. On Sunday, go Monday, ends in Tuesday. Forgot to put that on my chart here. Oh well. The shadow here, Chiron, instead of healing, refuses to heal. In fact, it can wound itself and wound others. And yeah, using the knowledge that it's gained to heal, it can use that to wound others. And in Pisces, you're just trying to numb the pain or escape in any way. Or it can be attempting to turn yourself into this martyr, some sort of martyr through fantasy or through any sort of fantasy or fantastic idealism. And this becomes self-defeating. Wounding others in order to get them to understand you is deceptive, and it is deception and distortion of reality. It's never going to work. You're just going to hurt yourself and hurt others in a bad way. And that's where we end the week. Like I said, there's a lot of old stuff happening, and this is all that new. So let me go back here. No. There we go. So do follow me on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. These three are making billions. In fact, any social media is making a lot of money off of your data. Digital Soul Space is it is now free. They're operating like PBS, asking donations periodically to help cover the costs. It's hosted on Mighty Networks. You control your data and how it can be used. I do astrology. We have tarot, a wide variety of spiritual practices, people doing crystals, oracle cards, herbalism, spiritual art. We just had some very interesting drawings posted. I just remembered that. I call it the spiritual safe space of the internet. 4 great moderators that keep the trolls out and away. And like I said, it's now free. Sign up, join up, jump on in, introduce yourself. And if you've got a question, ask. People will share what they know. So do follow me on the social media. Share what you find interesting. I do read astrology too. If you want to see how your chart changes with True Sky Astrology. Order the Quick 6. It's a quick reading, gives you 6 key points that provide a solid foundation for you to work with. If you want to know your birth contract, your birth contract in evolutionary astrology is your end-all goal. If you want to understand who you came here to become, your birth contract gives you that information. I also do what's called a karmic reading, and it can be a past life reading as well. If you believe in past lives, there's a past life that you're reliving that karma, and it's reappearing in this lifetime, so you can heal it and release it. I can help you understand what that pattern is. There are people who are a one and done. That's the karmic reading. I will help you understand what that pattern is. What is the lesson you came here to heal? What lessons you come here to learn? And how do you learn it? And how do you successfully release it? I also do horoscopes a year long. That's any 12 months, any 3 months in a row, or any 1 month. And that 1 month can be new moon to new moon, first of the month to last of the month, any 30-ish days in a row. I do have packages, and I now have summer hours available from now through August 28th. And that's Tuesday through Friday in the afternoon from, I think it's 1 to 5 or something like that. Off the top, I can't remember if it's 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. But it starts at 1 o'clock. If those hours don't work for you, email me. We'll work it out. Semper Gumby. I'm on vacation. I got the time. So thank you very much for watching this. Do like, follow, and share. Sign up for my newsletter. If you go to freedomthroughastrology.com, it's a pop-up. All I need is an email address. You get a once-a-week newsletter. We get all these insight, all this information, further insights that I may not put in the video. And it's the only place, if I give a discount or running any sort of special, that's the only place you're going to find it. So like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Thank you very much. Cats were a little bit better behaved than normal today. Thank you very much. Have yourself the best week possible.